guys, what's happening? It's your man JP, J.P.s World of Wrestling. Now, what am I talking about today? Well, it's last weekend was WrestleMania weekend. WrestleMania took place on Saturday and Sunday of last weekend. Now, last year, I watched WrestleMania. I didn't get to watch it live, but I went back and watched it, a couple days later, just because I work and I didn't really have time to watch it. Now this year, I gotta be honest, I didn't watch WrestleMania, and I may not go back and watch it, not because of any of the results or anything, just primarily just because I don't really have a ton of time. My job is gonna be, my job is busy now, but it's gonna be different because my current job, I'm working at a shopping mall, but the mall has decided to go with a different security company, and so they gave us the option to either stay with the mall and go work for the different security company, or stay with the current security company and work somewhere else. And that's what I chose to do. So I'm going to be working somewhere else, and it looks like I'm going to be working at an Amazon, distribution center, and I'll be working security over there, and so my schedule will be a little bit different. So, but honestly, I don't know. I just, for whatever reason, I just wasn't very enthused about this year's WrestleMania, and I think it probably was the lack of build-up for the main event, which for night 2 it was Cody Rhodes versus John Cena. They turned John Cena heel. He's a bad guy, and he wasn't really able to make a lot of appearances because he's busy. He's doing movies and stuff. So, but Cody Rhodes ended up dropping the title to Cena at WrestleMania. So John Cena is now the 17-time heavyweight champion, breaking Ric Flair's record of 16 times. Although according to Ric Flair, he was actually champion a lot more times because of all the non-televised matches where he dropped the title to people like Ricky Steamboat and all that. But officially he was champion for 16 times. But now Cena officially is a 17-time champion, and so now he's going to work with Randy Orton for the next event, which is Backlash, and which is actually in my home state of Missouri this year. It's in St. Louis. But I went online and looked up ticket prices, and it's just insane. WWE used to be a relatively inexpensive entertainment thing that you could go see, but now that they've merged with UFC, now that it's a TKO, the tickets are just expensive. Like, when I hear about the amount of money people paid to go to WrestleMania, I'm like, yeesh, my goodness, no way. There's no way that I'll ever, unless I just win tickets, I'm never gonna go to WrestleMania. I'm not gonna pay thousands of dollars just to get a decent seat, and then even the terrible seats were several $100s. So WrestleMania is probably not gonna be a no-go, and that's not the reason why I didn't watch this year. It's just mostly just because I didn't care. I didn't care enough to tune in. It didn't really excite me. Wrestling to me, it sort of lost its allure for me, at least temporarily. Not the old stuff. I still like to watch the old school stuff, but wrestling, modern stuff, it's just, I don't know. I mean, there's a number of modern wrestlers that I like, but wrestling as a whole, just, I don't know. It just doesn't do it for me anymore. But that doesn't mean that I don't understand why people watch modern wrestling, because It's still wrestling. So, I mean, I see a number of like videos on social media asking wrestling fans, oh, why do you still watch wrestling? Why does a grown man or woman or whatever still watch wrestling? You should be watching UFC or something. So, to that I say, well, sometimes I do watch UFC. So sometimes I do watch it, but I also like WWE, but not so much lately. And I think I still prefer the Triple H era over Vince McMahon, because Vince McMahon, I feel like he was kind of out of touch with what fans wanted, and Triple H is more sort of in tune, and plus Triple H is more, I don't know, in tune with what the wrestlers need. So, but yeah, so guys, I don't know. And I think another reason is that there's just so much wrestling out now. I mean, you got like half a dozen shows from WWE alone, and then you got AEW, you got the NWA, you've got Ring of Honor, you've got TNA, NWA, MLW, and you've got other independent wrestling that you can watch online. There's GCW, there's your local independent wrestling, like out here, it's MSW, Mid-States Wrestling, and if you go to the northern part of the state of Missouri, there's New Breed Wrestling. So there's just so much wrestling out there, and quite frankly, right now, I just don't have the time. When I was younger, I used to watch wrestling religiously every week. Every Monday night was wrestling night, because I would watch Raw and Nitro, and then Thursday nights were SmackDown until then they moved to Friday nights, and then WCW had Thunder, and for a while I was watching wrestling a lot. But now, quite frankly, I don't have time. I just don't have time, and even when I do have time, I'm usually just watching other stuff. Like, my wife right now is away at a women's conference, and I spent a lot of the weekend watching, Mystery Science Theater 3000. That's an old show that I used to watch all the time, and I spent the weekend watching that instead of going back and trying to watch WrestleMania. I don't know. I do have to plug one of the WWE shows, though. It's the A&E Biography that they did. It's like a series of documentaries that A&E made with WWE wrestlers. That's a pretty good show. They do a really good job with these documentaries. They go much more in depth than WWE does. Guys like Roddy Piper and the Ultimate Warrior and the British Bulldog, guys like that. And they even did Eddie Guerrero, and they did The Undertaker. So that's a good show. You should check it out. I think they're all on Hulu right now, and Hulu is one of the streaming services that I'm watching most right now, because there's a couple different classic TV shows that I'm watching on Hulu. But so it's not that I don't like wrestling anymore. It's just the new product doesn't really do much for me anymore. Once in a while I'll still watch an old DVD or something, or I'll try to find an old event. And actually, WWE has released all of WCW's content on YouTube, so I can look up any random Nitro or any random Thunder or any random pay-per-view that I want, and it's available on YouTube. So, so that's probably going to do it for this video. Just kind of give you a little bit of an update. I'm pretty sure I'm going to start doing wrestling figure matches pretty soon. I'm pretty sure I know how I'm going to do it. and provided that it looks pretty good or good enough when I record them. So yeah, I'll look forward to doing those, and so watch for those. So with that, I'm gonna say thanks again for tuning in. Thanks again for watching my stuff. And if you're new, feel free to go ahead and like and subscribe. We're gonna be moving on. We're gonna have some fun stuff happening, and I'll see you next time.